And we're back. All right. Hi, guys. I'm Haxmew. And, school started this week. I mean, technically it started last week because, how do I explain this? Okay. So the episode came out last week, Wednesday. The first episode of the podcast, Great Stuff. It came out last week, Wednesday. And that episode was recorded the week before that on a Thursday. And the day after that was a Friday. And that Friday was the first day of school. So, as of right now, this recording, we've had a full week of school. And in the spirit of school, I'm recording today's episode, which is a ranking of all the different types of classes at school. And that is going to include a bunch of the classes, and I'm going to have a criteria for all of that. But first, well, hi. Welcome to another episode of Seriously, Why a Podcast? A podcast by me, Haxtermew. And it's been about like 5 minutes since I made that intro because I needed to actually figure out which classes I am going to be talking about. But before I start, I just want to say yes, I know I said I was going to make these podcast episodes 30 minutes long, and that same episode is like less than 30 minutes, but it was pretty close, okay? Don't make fun of me. Now, also a disclaimer, this is purely based on my opinion of these classes, and if for some reason any of my teachers, if you're listening to this, past, present, or future, no, I am not talking about you. I am talking about the class in general, um, as met by the criteria I will be stating. So, how will I be ranking these classes? Well, one, how useful they are, like in our everyday lives and in lives as adults. How easy they are. Easy as in like how easy it is to understand what is being taught. No, that doesn't make sense. We're not doing that one. So it's gonna be how useful is it, how fun it is, and how much I like the class in general. So yeah, this is very biased. No, it's not based on the teachers. I'm basing it off the aspects of the class. So which classes are we going to be ranked? So I just got the most broad ones because I'm not able to take every single class ever to be able to give a proper opinion on every single class ever. So I narrowed it down to what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nine different class types. So we have math, English, history, technology, art, music, health, gym, and language. And the reason I chose these is because, at least here in my town, you have to, at least for 1 year of your school life, you have to take some version of these classes. Science, that's what it was. Science is there too. Science. I'm writing this down and I'm gonna probably add this to the video so you guys can see the final result and stuff. So let's start with the first one. Math. Math is I like math, I'm not bad at it. I've always been like this is my biased opinion towards myself. I feel like I always like when the teacher teaches something, I'm always very like I don't take forever to understand. Like I actually understand what the teacher's teaching me pretty fast. Like I'm good at understanding what the teacher's teaching me about math. If that makes sense. Like I learn quickly. Math learn quick, okay? Ah, um, hmm. so, and I mean, that's probably also the reason why I'm in advanced math. I'm like a year ahead or something like that. I'm taking AP calculus this year, but that's against the point. Anyways, ranking. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, we're ranking it in the tier list style. So it goes, the top is S, and then it goes A, B, C, D, E, F. F is the lowest one. And I don't know if I'm even gonna use all of these, but that's pretty good. Um, if you're watching the video instead of just listening to this, the video is probably gonna show you the full tier list, and I'm gonna just be giving my reasoning, I guess. Um, so the math class, it is very useful, although it doesn't quite seem like it's useful at first, because like, when are you gonna use sine, cosine, tangent, all that stuff? I mean, some of it is pretty obscure, and I've yet to find a use for it in life, but like simple algebra at least is very useful in life. Like I've hosted several tournaments here at my house, and I do s- a lot of math because points and stuff, and figuring out how many people and how it's gonna work out, and everything. And then even like if I make cookies sometimes for my family, and it's like ingredients and fractions and stuff. So overall, the usability, the uses of math class is pretty good. If you're building something, also you really need math, and yeah, I know it's not for everybody. For me, but for me, it's pretty good. Math, although I'm not gonna say it's like the most fun of all the classes. It can get pretty boring, but like doing the homework, I is not bad because you already know everything, and it's just a bunch of writing down numbers. So, um, I don't know if I actually made any other criteria. I just said like the fun and the usability of it or whatever. Okay. And that, I think math then goes to an A. I think it's worth giving math an A because you use it a lot in life, even if you don't recognize it. Man, this light is directly in my eye. I just tapped the microphone. I am so sorry. Man, okay, I'm doing this in the dark. Just a computer screen in my face. Alright, next class. Oh, the microphone. I'm so sorry. I'm holding the microphone instead of having it clipped to my shirt because this makes me feel a little bit cooler. And also because I have nothing for my hands to do. So, holding the microphone is something cool. Okay, English class. English class, I feel, it is very useful. Because you're reading and you speak English. Of course, sorry, I just tapped the microphone again. English, like right now I'm talking English. So you're learning English to understand what I'm speaking, which is great. English is one of the most spoken languages in the world. I'm pretty sure it is. I you can fact check me. It's been a while since I did that research, but a lot of people do know English. So learning how to properly use English is very important, and it's also including reading in there. And this is how we get our information across, is through our language, which here in the United States is English. So it makes sense that they're teaching us how to properly communicate with each other so our society can continue to progress. So in terms of uses, that class is by far the most useful out of any of these classes, I feel like. because this is how our society survives, is the fact that we're able to communicate with each other to do stuff. In terms of fun, um, it really does depend on the teacher. So let's see. This is where I'm gonna start calling out specific teachers. So if you're listening to this for some reason, I am so sorry, or you're welcome, or whatever. If I say something bad, take it as slight criticism, so you can maybe work on that and make your class better. Okay, I'm gonna go from all the way sixth grade to now pretty fast. Okay, it's not that hard. Sixth grade, I had this teacher. It was like his first year teaching at this school that I went to. He's been teaching before that, of course, but first time teaching it. So of course he was still getting used to the new school and everything, just like me, because it's middle school and stuff like that. So overall, it wasn't that bad. It definitely could have been better. It got boring at some times. I had them twice in a day, once for English and once for reading, which I don't understand why they're two separate classes, but they are. That's why I'm not even including reading as a class. I count it as English. Okay. Seventh grade, it was great. The teacher had like a money system, like you could do stuff and you get like this fake money. And then at the end of the quarter, you could use the fake money to buy candy or make the class watch a video or whatever of your choice, as long as it's appropriate. So then I really went all in with that, and I made everybody um subscribe to my YouTube channel or something like that. I don't remember. I think I made a book in that class. I made several books because of English class. We read a really good book in that class too, so it's great. Eighth grade, best English of all time. I was gonna say his name, but I decided not to. But he was such a good teacher. He had, of course, the best teachers are the ones that have stories, and the stories they tell you is always fun. That some of the stories were about him, some of the stories were about his children, and some were about past students. Either way, it's always fun. I just got reminded though of the worst part of English class, which is vocab exams. I understand you need to know the words and what they mean, but you gotta give a chance to the people who aren't at school. I'm gonna skip ninth grade because COVID happened, and all we did basically was read Romeo and Juliet like 5 times, and we watched like three different versions of Romeo and Juliet. Sorry. And then 10th grade, we once again read Romeo and Juliet. And then, I was gone for a day for some reason. I don't remember if it was like a doctor appointment or vacation. And it just so happens to be the day that this teacher was teaching the vocab. And then when I go back to class, everybody's being tested on the vocab. It's like, can I have an extension so I can actually learn the vocab? And it's like, no, you're taking the test now. So like, okay, well, I got a really bad grade. And then the retake was the day after. And then like she didn't even try teaching me. She's like, here's the list. And then I couldn't study between the 2 days because that stuff was happening. I have a life. So then I did slightly better on the retake. But like she didn't teach me at all. It was her last year. So ah last year the teacher was pregnant and she left. And it was an AP class. And the substitute teacher didn't. Okay, whatever. This we're getting off topic. Anyways, the substitute teacher literally taught us the opposite of what we were supposed to learn. Like, let's say we were supposed to write this type of essay. The substitute teacher said, this essay is all about your opinion. They're gonna give you a prompt, and you're going to use the sources that they gave you and use your opinion to tell you to say what the correct answer is. The teacher comes back from her break like a month before the AP exam and then just tells everybody that it's not about opinion and we're doing everything wrong. So then we're stuck cramming in the past like 6 months worth of information in a month for the AP exam. And also, that teacher did some really bad grading. Like it was a out of five or something. No, out of four, like these little journal things that we needed to write, out of four. And she graded them very harshly. The first one I got at two, which is already 50%. And then I redid it and she bumped it up to like a 2.5. By the last journal entry, instead of writing half a page of notes, I wrote like 2 pages and it was amazing. And I still got a 2. She graded those so harshly, my grade plummeted. Of course, when the teacher came back, she got rid of all the grades. It went back to normal, but like, man! Anyways, English, I'll give it a. Even though it's very useful, but I feel like the fun is very dependent on the teacher. I can't say anything about this year because I've had him for a week. He seems like a lot of fun though, so it feels like it's gonna be a lot of fun. Um, so yeah, English, even though it's useful, the fun is very dependent on the teacher. So it's really a make or break depending on which teacher you have. Okay, so it's a B. History, I don't understand why we need to learn history for 9 years of our life. I understand. You need to understand so you understand why the countries don't like each other or why the world is the way it is today. And so you don't make the same mistakes that people made in the past. But like I don't need to have memorized that the reason World War One started is because there was a assassination attempt on like this political leader in a random country in Europe that I don't even know if it exists anymore. It's like I understand why we need to learn it, but also like it's not needed. I don't need to know all 50 presidents of the United States. There hasn't been 50 yet, but in like 20 years there will be probably. Yeah, we have like 48. Yeah, so like I don't need to have all the states and the things memorized and all the presidents. It doesn't it's not needed information for me to survive. I can go about my everyday life and not need to know that there was a little kerfuffle between like Zimbabwe and South Africa or whatever in 1789 because they wanted to sell more rats or whatever. I just made that up. Okay? I'm like it's not needed as heavily as the school systems make it out to be. And also the fun is very dependent on the teacher like English. I'm not going to go into it. Some teachers are fun, some teachers are not. I'm giving this a D cuz like it's semi needed but not needed to the extent of it not being needed. Next one, technology, okay? Technology in this ever growing world that we live in this society that we live in a society where technology is everywhere and you are using technology on a daily basis now. I'm using technology to talk to you about how I like my classes, including technology. Um, so with the definitely have the knowledge, it's definitely needed now, knowing how to use technology. And like it's amazing, like some 6-year-olds know how to do stuff that people my grade don't know how to. It's very easy to do stuff on technology, and for some reason, people don't know how to do that. And then it's like, why like I don't want to have to teach you. Like, go to class. So it's very needed, especially as we start using technology more and more. Because we live in a society. Is it fun? No, it is never fun because they say the same things like every year. If they could go a little bit more in depth every year, that'd be great. So I'm giving this an a B. I think a B is good. It's needed, but the fun, it's not a lot of fun. Art, okay? Art is the next one, and I gotta say, why? Why? I understand some people like to do art, but like, why do you have to force everybody to do art for 8 years of your life? That's right, I needed to do an art class from first to eighth grade. Did I even take it to eighth grade? No. 7 years of my life. Okay, I don't think it's required in eighth grade. But man, I like why? I'm not a good artist. I don't know how to draw. And in art class, they don't teach you how to draw. They they just tell you, okay, so you're gonna draw a picture of yourself. And then they tell you to do it. Or you're gonna build a structure out of paper and it's gonna be cool. Or you're gonna do origami. And then when it gets to origami, they're like, okay, so you fold this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. Cool. You have a bird. Like, it's so inconsistent also, and it's not needed for life. Like, unless you're going on to become an artist and make like drawings and paintings and stuff, which is needed by the way for like movie effects and animation and stuff, but like it's a very small need in our life, I feel like. Of course everything has some limit of art to it, but like the class doesn't teach us how to do art. It just tells us, hey, do art, do this. And if it's something that includes equipment, then they tell you to do it. Like we did this metal thing and we like indented the metal a certain way. I made a mirror. They gave us a mirror and then like we put stuff over the mirror and then cut it out and stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, I have a mirror with stuff on it. I guess that's pretty cool. But when am I gonna use this in life? And it's never any fun unless it's origami, in which you can make ninja stars and throw them at people and then get in trouble. I'm giving this class, are you ready for this? An F. It's not needed and it's like never fun. Next one, music class, okay? Music, um, let me skip the necessity of it. Necessity of it. There you go. I can speak English. The It is a lot of fun. Okay? Um, Like I'm in band right now and band is like the most fun. There's a reason why I've kept through it since 6th grade. It's just a lot of fun to play music and listen to music and have fun with all these other people. And since like a lot of people don't jump in later. So like the people that you have that first year, those are the people that are gonna be with you 6 years later. Like the same people that I used to play in band with since 6th grade, they're still here and like we all know each other. We're all like we've played together for 6 years of our life now. And it's crazy. And it's always such a lot of fun. Yesterday I played at a football game and it's a lot of fun because one, you're hyped up because like you want your football team to win and you're cheering and everything. But like whenever your team scores, you go and you play the school anthem. I was gonna sing it, but I decided not to. And then or before the game starts, you're playing pop songs like 8675309, Crazy Train, Funky Town, I Want You Back, September, Final Countdown, all that stuff. And it's always a lot of fun. Of course, there's more than band, there's choir and orchestra. And I gotta say, other than the actors and the writing, I feel like the next big thing is not the effects. I mean, the effects are still important, but like a slight margin, it's the music. Because it's the music that makes you feel stuff. So, one, we all listen to music, I think. So, music is a part of our society. We listen to music, there's radio, there's movies that have music in them. So, it's a lot of fun, and it really is a part of our society. And also, going a step even deeper, like right now I'm in band, right? I need to read music, and music helps me count. And it helps you, one, stay in time. You learn how to play an instrument, and you count, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all that stuff. So like it helps you learn how to count. So music is an S. It's S tier. Of course, I have my opinions on which music classes are better. Band is superior. Then it's orchestra, and then it's choir. Of course, it all depends on how good the choir and the orchestra are, but there's just too many singers and not enough French horns, because the French horns are cool. Next one, health class. Yes, I understand. It's needed. You need to learn about health and how the human body works and the difference between male and female and how one body reacts to certain things compared to the other. It's great, but I don't need to know for the millionth time that drinking alcohol is bad and smoking is bad. That was literally my freshman year. The full semester. It's like, hey, don't drink, don't smoke. Here's why. Here's why. Okay, let's test on it. Hey, don't drink, don't smoke. Here's why. Here's why. Like it's needed, but it's never a lot of fun, and it never has been. This deserves an E. No, it's pretty needed. I'll give it a D, a C. Why not? I feel like health is more needed than history for sure. So let's give it a C. Gym class? Gym class is always a lot of fun unless you're in the swimming unit, which it's not because the pool is always freezing cold. Other than that, it's great, but the it's not really useful unless you're going into sports. It's always good to stay in shape and be physically active, but like it's it's not very needed, you know. But it's always a lot of fun. I'll give it a C. It matches health, but in the opposite way. It's more fun, but not necessarily needed. Language, though, language classes like French, Spanish, German, Hmong, sign language, Japanese. Any classes that you need to learn language in, I feel like they're in the same boat as English. And of course, they're always a lot of fun because then you just go around the hallway speaking that language you're learning, and nobody's gonna understand you except the people that are in your class. So I kept this one pretty short. It's in B tier along with English. Okay, science. I don't need to know. I don't think for me to survive, I don't need to know all the 118 elements, what an atomic number is, the atomic weight, how the electron is built, the laws of thermodynamics. I mean, yeah, some of it could be used later in life. Like, heat goes up, cold goes down type of stuff. But, like, I don't think I need to have a science class for all years of my education. I think you just should teach me the stuff that I need to know. Like how a fire starts and how I don't need to know that the midichlorians is the midichlorians. What even is it called? Is the powerhouse of the cell. I don't need to know that stuff. Okay? And sometimes it's fun, but it's not always fun. So I'm giving this one an E. Because one, it fills out the last remaining hole in the thing, and also I feel like it's an accurate present um thing. Actually, I'm switching science and history because I feel like science is better than history. Okay, and that's my tier list. So let's go from the bottom up, kind of like how announcers do it. So in the bottom tier, the F tier, we have art. In the E tier, we have history. D. Science. C. Health and gym. B. English, technology, and language. A. Math. Yeah, that seems right. And an S tier, the ultimate champion, the champion of the class. Which class is better debate? Music, because music is fun. Okay, that's this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And that's it. And I don't think I have anything else to say. Subscribe, leave a like on below, drop a follow. I'm sorry I'm not able to post it on Apple Podcasts yet. I'm working on it. Just that we have some technological issues. Um, Other than that, we're good to go. And goodbye. Doop, 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 boom, bum, ba-dum, bum. Wow!